Great. Take 3, 4, 5. We're on take 17 now. It's fine.
That's okay.
Alegria Grande. It is similar to Alegria because it is the same yarn. It's their sock yarn. We're just going to jump right into it. It's called Alegria Grande because they started with Alegria, which is their traditional sock yarn, which a traditional sock yarn means it's 75% wool, 25% nylon. So that nylon is going to give you that durability. And this is kind of an industry standard. Some folks, you'll see 80-20, 75-25 is mostly your sock yarn. Of course, you could make your socks out of any fingering weight or even larger weight. But the idea was that they took their very popular sock yarn and they made it into a worsted weight. So this is 75% merino wool superwash and 25% polyamide, which is just the, you know, it's like saying tissue instead of Kleenex. So polyamide is nylon, but nylon is a very specific thing. So this is a plumped up sock yarn. So these are going to be very durable, easy care, lovely garments. Anything from baby stuff, I'll show you our collection of that, to sweaters, hats. This is our little beginner project. It's called a jellyfish hat. One skein, you knit it flat and you seam it up the sides. So you don't have to worry about DPNs, but you learn how to decrease and do ribs and increases. Very fun beginner project. And you get a really nice squishy drapey hat when you're done.
Yeah, that was a neat design. Chris designed that specifically for people learning to make hats.
Yep, that is a fantastic beginner hat. If you're done making your rectangle scarf, you're ready to go to that next step, you can make a hat and it to go with your scarf, and it'll be fabulous. And the Alegria Grande is lovely to work with. It's really plump and springy. It's a very nice worsted weight because it's so plump. It's got a little less yardage than typical worsted weights. It's 197 versus like the maxima is 219. So you get a little bit less yardage, but it's because you get this really nice, plump, squishy yarn. It's very delicious. And you can still get a lot out of that. I made a pair of gloves and a little close cowl out of one skein of this. So it's lovely yarn. Their newest addition to it, because they just keep expanding it every year. We've got more colors in already, which is pretty fun. This is Wild Orchid, which is great. They did some more space dyed. This one's pretty fun. They've been playing a lot with these kind of reverse dyes, which is really neat. Those are fun. This one, I think those are beautiful. How fun is that? So you're going to get these little pops of color when you knit it up. So they've got new colors and they've got these little mini skeins. They're called Bocados. So about 4 of these will equal a full skein. They're mini skeins, so you can play with colors in small bits in larger projects. So you don't have to buy a full skein if you just want a little tiny bit. And we've got some patterns that utilize that. And of course, the sky's the limit. You can do anything you want. And we're hoping they will add to their little mini skein collection. But that's what they've got so far. So Bocados means little bites, which is adorable. You just get a little bite of the Alegria Grande to play with, which is super fun. So it's, again, 197 yards per skein. It is super wash. You can throw it in the wash machine. We would still suggest gentle. And ideally, you would lay flat or hang dry, probably lay flat. But it is super wash, so you could put it in the dryer very lightly if you wanted to. Anything is going to be extended longevity-wise if you don't throw it in the dryer. That goes for like all your clothes, not just wool. Yeah, I think that's that's the yarn. Any questions specifically about the yarn? Ooh. Shall I talk about?
Can you describe what that backwards dye is, the process?
Oh yeah, so what they do with this, they're going to take this skein and they're going to tie a clip or a band or like a zip tie or something really tight. So it's going to squeeze it up. And then they're going to do those ties all over the skein. And then they're going to dump the whole skein into the vat of color. And where it's been squeezed, there's no room for the dye and the liquid to get in there. So it works as like a resist dyeing. Well, more like a tie dyeing, because they're not putting anything on there to keep the water out except for just a really tight tie. So it's like a tie dyeing thing. And then after they do that, they might go in and add a color in the places where they left it undyed. So you can really play with that. And here's where they did it the other way. Oop. So it's kind of neat. They've done that in a few of their yarns. It's most notably in the Alegria Grande and the Franca is where they've been playing with this a lot. And it's really pretty. They just got it. We just got in a bunch of new Franca colors that do that. And there's like a red one and a blue one and a yellow one. And then they've got these little white dots in them. So it's really fun. So you get this colorful, solid background that has these little white flecks that pop out here and there, which is really fun. So it takes, a simple knitted hat like this and adds just a little bit more to it. So you already get that nice deep richness of a semi-solid that Manos does. And then you add in some little fun flecks without it being too busy. It's not overwhelming. It's just another tiny little way to play with color. So those are kind of fun. And we got some nice new rich colors. They're expanding their palette. Some more pinks. This is a beautiful, they're mauve. Yeah, and some more space dyes.
Not a good yellow. Not a pure yellow.
No, they don't have a pure yellow, like a rubber ducky yellow. But they've got, we don't get a whole lot of call for that. We get a lot more interest for things like this color, these kind of ochre colors, the mustard colors. Those tend to be the ones people go for anyway. So I think this one is really pretty. It's technically a space dyed, but it's all different shades of yellow. Kind of hard to see in there. It looks more golden in person. On my screen, at least, it looks a little brassy, but it's a really nice, rich color. And so I'm going to jump into our models. Unless anybody has a question about the yarn specifically.
No, it's a great one. It's a really versatile, it's kind of a workhorse yarn because you can wash it. Yep. You just knit it up. It's great for sweaters, hats, socks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's got that extra nylon and it's plied. So yeah, it's really going to hold up to a lot of wear and tear. That's why it's great for sweaters. It's great for baby things. It's got some longevity built into it. So it's really nice. This is when they came out with their little mini skein Bocados, this was kind of their flagship pattern for it. It's this great way to play with all their little mini skeins. And this is also a really nice, it's a sweater, so I wouldn't say it's, the simplest way to learn color work, but it's a very simple, straightforward color work pattern. So if you haven't done color work before, you want to give it a try, and you're willing to give it a try in a beautiful, lovely sweater, this is the project for you. It's top down, and we do have kits. They came out with this colorway and another colorway, and I can show you that. We've got those on our website. So top down, they do a little bit of short row shaping in the back, just to kind of raise the back collar and bring the front collar down a bit. And some simple increases here. And then just this very simple 1x1 color work. So you're not having to deal with big, long stranded color works. just kind of learn how to work with 2 colors at a time and still get a very striking graphic effect and a classic yoke sweater. So it's a really neat option.
What does the bottom look like?
The bottom is just a rib, but the sleeves have a nice little detail. Look how cute that is. And of course you could pick whichever color out of your grouping you wanted. They matched them. If it were me, I would make a mismatch. I would do 2 different colors. You know, do 1 color here and 1 color on this one.
And then you'd remember which is your right hand and which is your left hand.
Which I need. So that would be helpful, but only when I wore this sweater.
And what's the name of that? Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
This one's the dovetail sweater. It is the
Great.
dovetail, but of course I have to check it. Yeah, it's the dovetail. And I believe, yeah, you use 5 different bocados. Like I said, and I can show you our kits real quick. Let me show you. But as always, oh, share. We'll just get off this Zoom here. We are happy to help you pick out other colors. So you've got all of our information here, kind of straightforward. So you can easily plan it out. And then here are the kits, the pre-made kits of the colors they did. So they have, this is the foil background, that's the gray. And this is the coal, so that's the darker gray. And they use some different colored bocados for that one. They went for a fairly neutral background color to make their little bocados really pop. Of course, you could do these in any combo you want. You could actually also, you know, do your background color and then do a full skein of any other colors you want. You know, maybe you do background color, contrast color, background color, contrast color, background color. You could mix this up any way you want. If you're not, if you don't find all the little bocados you want, or maybe you want to put a variegated in here just to mix it up a bit. There's lots of ways to play with this.
Yeah, that's such a beautiful sweater.
It is. And I like that it's a classic shape. It's a really interesting graphic design, and it's a great intro to beginner color work, folks. Because they're coming back, all the color work sweaters. So this is really fun. It doesn't look like, you know, this is my beginner colorwork sweater. It looks like a really interesting colorwork sweater. This is our second garment. This is beautiful. Look at that. This is
that's nice.
Yeah, this is a classic. Got a sweet little collar here. It's a top-down sweater. This is the Masetta Cardigan. Oops, oops, upside down. Masetta Cardigan. You can make it out of any color. Solid is going to be best, so you can see your lace detailing. You could go darker, especially if you've got a shirt underneath, because you'll still get these little eyelets showing through. A lighter color will always show your lace work a little more clearly. There's no reason you couldn't do this out of a deep lush purple. And if you wore a fun bright green shirt underneath, then it look really cool.
Oh yeah.
So very simple construction, top down. There's some slight shaping in the back to give it a little bit of a tailored look and to go with that kind of classic cardigan, lace cardigan look. Usually those have a little bit of a tailoring fit. So they draw in a bit, and give you a little bit of shape, which is nice. Your simple sleeve, raglan sleeve detail, and then just a little cuff here. I wouldn't be, you know, I bet you could probably also do a little bit of this lace, like if you took a lace, this lace pattern and put it along your cuff edge here, that'd be really cute.
So
Or
somebody's got a phone or something. We're hearing your conversations.
I can mute somebody.
Oh, it went away. Great.
So that's the Masetta cardigan.
And yes, that's available on our website.
Yes, we've got the pattern for this. Obviously don't need a kit because you can just choose your color. Here is another way to play with those boccados. This is the Rise and Run cowl. We did this, they did this in Maxima as well. We also have this in Maxima. We did kits for that. I didn't do kits for this one. But you could easily put your own kit together. What's fun, what they did in the Alegria Grande is they could play with their little boccados. So you choose 3 different little colors. It's 2 skeins of the background color, and I believe just 3 boccados. Yeah. And you can make these fun little pops.
That's a nice design.
It is, yeah, it's a very nice design. This is
Is that entrelac?
entrelac knitting. And it's a great little introduction to entrelac knitting. I find Manos always has very nice, clear instructions. So learning new techniques from them is usually quite easy. It's really nice. And of course, you can always call us up. We're happy to help. We've done entrelac before. It's very fun. This is done in a garter stitch, so it's really squishy. And you don't have to worry about your cowl curling in on you and disappearing around your neck. It's going to lay nice and flat and show off all that beautiful entrelac that you did. And of course, you can choose colors that kind of blend and move like this, or you can go for really high contrast. Maybe you do a really pale or really dark solid color on the background and have your little boccados pop more. All kinds of possibilities. This is a great piece for playing with colors. That's the Rise and Run cowl. Nice length, so you can loop it. You can have it nice and dramatic down the front, especially if you've got your jacket and it's peeking through, wearing your jacket open. It's really nice and cold and you want to get cozy. You're walking the beach in the morning. You can double it up. Super cozy. That's the Rise and Run cowl. And with your cowl and your sweater, you need the rest of the accessories, right? These are super cute. These are called Tabby Mitts. And there's a hat that goes with it. We just brought in the little mitts. I think the mitts are adorable. What I like about these is they have a fully fashioned gusset. It's really nice. You can see how it builds into the pattern. So it's not like an afterthought thumb, it's included in the pattern. So you get this really nice movement and shaping. The contrast color is done in garter stripes and the background is a stockinette. So you've got this fun texture. You can see it kind of sticks out. Of course, you can do the whole thing in either garter or stockinette per your preference, but it is fun to have that, those little ridges stand out.
Yeah, those are really neat pieces. They're striking in person.
Yeah, they really are. And again, the way you can play with color with these is kind of endless. So these are really fun. These are the Tabby Mitts. And I really like this one. This is the Ligero hat. There we go. It's 2 skeins, 1 skein for the background and 1 for the contrast. and you're making this really fun little Aster stitch. I was looking at this today thinking, you know, I think I'd want a whole sweater in that. I think it's really pretty. Fun little polka dots. Again, they walk you through working the Aster stitch. You're only using one color at a time, and you carry the yarn up on the inside. So it's nothing too scary. You start bottom up, shape the crown. Crown has nice shaping. And a garter. So that was really.
What colors is that one?
Mute myself. This one is the turmeric and the orla, and I did make a model kit for this, and I just muted everyone. So just if you'd like to say something, feel free to unmute yourself, but just in case to get rid of some background noise. But let me show you all the kits I made for these, because these are really fun. So this is the Ligero hat. And this one, they were going for a contrast, you know, a bright pop. So I tried to do the same. We're going to go to kits here. And under our Manos kits, we're going to scroll down. Here's the Ligero hat. Got some details about, and again, there's where the original color description is, but we've also got it in easy to buy kit form. There's the pattern by itself. If you just want that and you want to go off on your own, we'll change this. They are not actually sold out. We can get you anything you want. And so here's the colors I came up with, because I had fun with these. This one's called Pips, and excuse me. I'm using the semi-solids as our background color, like the turmeric in the original model color. And the variegate colors are going to be those little Aster stitches, the little dots, the little polka dots. So I called this one Pips. I was thinking small circular things. This is Polka. You've got a lot of contrast here, but this lovely deep magenta color is in the speckling of this Ming colorway, which I think is so beautiful. There are these blues, but also this nice teal and these fun little speckles. So I think that one's really fun. Buttons, this one makes me happy. This is one of their newer colors. This is Oxygen. Oxygen has been a very popular color in several of their lines. So it's nice to see it here in the Alegria Grande. So this is Oxygen and this is Carnival. And so I think that'll be a really fun pop, kind of like rainbows in a blue sky. Pine cones, getting some natural colorways here. This is their olive, also one of their newer colors. This is a beautiful, rich, kind of velvety green is the olive. And this is Overo, which is a really nice kind of neutral color. So it's really going to stand out and look very woodsy in this combo. Whirls, like little whirlpools. This is called Flow, and this has been a really popular color. It's these really interesting blues and kind of purple shades, kind of all mixed together, and you just imagine rushing water. And then this nice coffee brown. This is Burl. I love this the mauve color that they have. And here's another one. This is Quemado, I believe. And it's this kind of browny black, really interesting, rich, neutral color. So, but it's got this kind of purpley undertone. So these two together, it's really interesting. I actually did this. I did this combo for this kit and the other kit that I made. I'll show you after this. Bingo! I had to name it Bingo. The tealiness of this keeps it from screaming Christmas at you, but you could definitely make this a Christmas holiday hat. But truly you could wear this year round. This lovely deep rich teal is also in here, and this is kind of a really nice vibrant kind of zinnia red in this caprice colorway. This has always been a fun skein. So I think the two together is really poppy. And then there's the model color. So that's the turmeric, and then that's the orla. And the orla has the orla is like the Ming and the other ones where they're playing with swaths of color and areas of speckles. So in the model, you've got swaths of this fun green and then little speckles of kind of orange and red, I think, in the orla one, but mixed with shades of green. So that's the Ligero hat. Actually, while we're here, I'm just going to go to the next one. They made a scarf. Quinn, one of their designers, designed a scarf that they designed for a family member. So we don't have a model of it. But I really like it. I think it's very interesting. So I made kits for it, even though we don't have a model for it. And I'll just try to do my best to describe to you, maybe there's more pictures here, I think, what it looks like. No, but we can look at it here. So here's it's called lines, not stripes, because you're working your piece from this side this way. So you're working lengthwise, not from this edge. Your cast on edge is actually along the side here. And what's interesting about this is you're doing pinstripes. So you're actually only doing one row at a time. So what that means is when you get to the end of the row, you will slide the whole piece back and you'll pick up the other yarn at this end. And so then you'll knit to the end of that row, then you turn your piece over. And so then on the back side, you'll purl a row and you'll slide the whole scarf back. And at the other end, you'll pick up the other yarn and you'll purl the second row. Does that make sense? So that's how you're going to get your single pinstripes, just one row of color rather than two. So your tail ends will end up swapping sides on either side. They'll move back and forth. What do I want here? Actually, can we go back this way? Look at that. I'm learning. So that's the pattern by itself. It's free. It is a bit of a cast on commitment. There are a few stitches to cast on, but you get a lovely long dramatic scarf when you're done. So going along with these long lines, I tried to think of linear things. So we've got runway here. Here's with our tie-dyed pieces. This is skunk and this is Dalmatian. I think that combo would be really fun. With this one, I kind of went with Quinn's original idea where it's slightly blurred. You know, it's not, you can see the lines, but they're blurred in sections. It's not a hard line division. They kind of blur and mix and meld. So some of my combos will blur and mix and meld and not be quite so, you know, this doesn't scream stripes to you. You kind of have to get up close and see it. And doing the pinstripes will kind of naturally kind of smoosh everything together anyway. But I like that really subtle striping. So this one I called Canal. This is pewter and this is a blue color. I forgot the name. But I think this is one of their newer ones and it's really nice. Again, they're playing with these shades of one color and then adding a few speckles on top. They make some really interesting colors. Manos is doing great these days. Migrate, you know, thinking of migration lines all over the world. This is a lovely new fern green color that they came out with. It's soft and gray and sophisticated, and this is their Colorado River, and it's got some of that green in it, and it plays a little bit. This is one of the ones that stands out a bit more, but I think together will be really lovely. Churro. This is called Cinnamon, and yeah, that's where churro came from. This, I love this cinnamon color. It's rich and warm, and again, we've got that kind of warm neutral color that will play with it and stripe with it, and it'll be pretty. This is Garland.
And by the way, I've said it, it's saying sold out. If you were to reload the browser, you'd see that everything, the kits that Belle has showed you are now both all available online.
Yeah. And I
So they
believe
don't say sold out anymore.
yeah, we do have a lot of this yarn in stock too. So we could get this out the door to you tomorrow. Garland, love this magenta. I always love playing with this magenta and putting stuff with it. And this is Bloom, and it's got a nice big section of that magenta in it. Looks very garden-y to me. I called it Garland. Vines. I couldn't help but think of some lovely jungle thing. Vines draping around everywhere with beautiful orchids and bromeliads, all that fun stuff. So you've got that rich teal, and the huaracha has a lot of that rich teal in it as well. This is a really, really fun combo. I like that one. And then wood grain. I had that combo again because I just like it so much. So it's that beautiful mauve. And then this is that really nice neutral. It's really hard to describe because it's not a flat black, it's not a flat brown. There's a lot of depth and interest in this. It's rich while being not overpowering. I like this color a lot. So that's 2 skeins of each color, make you this great big scarf. It's lovely. Of course, you could always make it shorter, not as long, and then wider if you wanted to. And that is the Lines Not Stripes kit. Yeah, I wanted to have it in the shop because I think it's really fun. Another one of those patterns that's really simple and approachable, but still looks really neat, and is a great way to play with color and experience the yarn. But it was a personal project. So those were the models I brought in. There's, I thought I'd mention again, their Baby Brights collection. I know I did a whole presentation on this by themselves, but well worth another mention because it's made using this beautiful yarn and all their little bocados. So it's a whole little layette set for all the little BBs in your life, or the BBs you don't know, and you're just gonna make some stuff and hand it out. Because look how cute that is. These are socks. My goodness. I actually started a model for us in the shop. Look, I used that mauve color. I'm sure we're all surprised. And I used the Juanita color. I love this color. And the magenta. Yeah, because I don't play favorites at all, as you can tell. So it's a top down. I believe all these pieces, at least, no, the hats aren't. The hats are bottom up. But the 2 sweaters are top down, raglan style. They come in 3 different sizes. You're gonna go along and pick up and do your collar later, which is fun. And here's my sleeves on holders, standard raglan style. And they'll knit down, and the sleeves will have the little striping as well. So that's pretty fun. Pull straight back. And again, you never get a flat color. You get such an interesting color with their semi-solids. That's like, on this sweatshirt where it could just be like a boring swath of gray. It's not. I mean, look at the sleeves even. You can see, especially foil. Foil's got some really interesting colors in it. And so you almost get this subtle striping that gives you depth, and it's not just a flat color. It's not just a flat gray. It's very pretty.
Yeah, that is the nice thing about all that, all their kettle dyed yarns. You get that in there, they call it stria.
So yeah, they're all kind of subtly, and sometimes it's hard to see like this, but you'll knit it up and you're like, oh, I didn't realize it changed from one side of the skein to the other so much. Really beautiful yarn. So let's see, let's make sure I covered everything. And we've got this really fun, super simple mitts pattern we've had around forever. This is a great pattern. Make a couple pairs of these, throw them in your desk at work, throw them in your car, throw them in people's stockings for Christmas. Very easy. Garter stitch, nice little band here that's real squishy, like these.
Yeah, pretty much anything, you know, any worsted weight pattern that you have, you just drop this right in.
Yeah, well, and then Chris reminded me, because even though I talked about the sock yarn earlier, these are great for worsted weight socks. If you're looking to make some really nice cushy, either around the house or what's called like boot socks, hiking socks, something that's really thick and cushiony, this is the yarn for you. This is a great yarn. Like I said, it's super plump. It's got that nylon, which is, it's hard to find a worsted weight yarn that has the nylon content of a sock. So when you're making your boot socks, it can be tricky to find a thick yarn that has that nylon content. And the nylon content makes a big difference when you're making socks and how long they're going to last for you. So this is a great option. Actually, I believe Karen and Tamara have both made socks now out of this specific color. This is the flow color.
Well, that's too funny.
Yeah, I think Tamara made it. They looked beautiful. And Karen said, I want those too. But yeah, how lovely is this? And it's just so soft and squishy. And it knits up beautifully.
Belle,
Yes.
is there enough yardage in one of those skeins to do a pair of socks?
I think
Or do you have to
so.
have two skeins?
You know, sorry, Lynn, I'm not super prepared for that question. I
Well,
believe
that's okay.
I believe just one skein could do it.
Probably be closer to anklets or shorties.
But yeah,
was
you might be shorter socks. If you wanted more crew socks, or certainly, you know, socks that went up to your calf, you're gonna want two skeins. I want to say the reason I'm inclined to say one skein is because I think Karen and Tamara tried it with one skein, but yeah, you'd have to, the best way to do it would be toe up and go halfway with your ball, you know, measure it, you know, weigh it first. Once you've reached halfway, bind off wherever you are on your ribbing and start your next sock.
Or you could count your number of stitches.
Or you could count your rows if you wanted.
Right.
Yeah.
What's the yardage?
197.
Okay, because another thing, I could look at the yardage on the, what is it, Fair Isle socks, that
Oh,
yarn?
yes. Mm-hmm.
I could see what the yardage is on that yarn.
Yeah.
Because there was plenty left over.
Yeah, I think those are pretty dense. Those are pretty heavy. I think those have quite a bit of yardage on them.
Okay, so that's not as
Fair Isle.
dense.
No, yeah, I want to say the Fair Isle has more yardage on it. Oh,
Okay.
yeah, oh, that's right. We do have new colors too. We have new colors in the Fair Isle.
Oh, did it come in?
It did.
Yeah. They're on the
I also
website.
want to buy some.
I'll have to check. I'll have to check.
Do we have any other questions about like the patterns or the yarn? Although of course I'm
So-
happy to talk about anything.
Belle, Katie typed in the
Ooh, ooh.
things about the hat, the stitches in the hat.
Oh, yes, that is a great idea, Katie. Oh, so first this. Let's see.
240.
Yeah, so this is 246 yards in a Fair Isle.
But I have quite a bit left over.
I think I
I was
do too
thinking-
for mine.
Mhm.
But-
But it's, there's a difference in weight though, maybe.
Yeah, then there's quite a bit of yardage difference. Let me show you. We have this lovely
Age is the
presentation
same
basket.
though.
Mm.
Oh, wow.
I know. Look at these new colors. I
Oh,
think
wow.
their names are fun too. So I think one of these is called like vintage and like saffron crocus. What else we got around here? They've got some cute names. These should all be on the web. Brand new. We've got lots of stock. You can make a pair of socks with just one of these balls. Lynn knows.
Yep.
I was going to say to Lynn, I think it's going to depend upon how long you want your socks, how big your feet are, and everything like that, as to whether or not one skein would be able to make a pair of socks for you. Because
Yeah.
I know I could make a pair of socks for myself out of one skein with that amount of yardage, but I also have really small feet, so
Yeah, socks are always hard to estimate because everybody's feet are different.
Right.
Yeah.
And then as Katie was saying, yes, it'd be a great idea. So if I, or you could even do it with a hat. You could even do it with the sweater. But what you can do is you can make your little pips, your little Aster Stitch. You can play with the bocados and either do just, a section, 2 or 3 rows. And these are one color. And then the next few rows are a different color, or every other row is a different color. Yeah, it's another fun way to play with your little bocados. Play with color, play with this little Aster Stitch. I like that it makes like a little floret, little rosette pip.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah, this is a cute hat. I like this hat.
Yeah, it's a great idea, Katie.
I have a question.
Yes.
It's the 3rd row down and it's almost right in the center. Oh, go over to the left. It's the red one.
This one?
That's it. What's that
That's-
color?
That's Caprice.
Okay.
Wow.
That's pretty.
Yeah, it's a really fun color. I love this red. The red in it is super rich. Yeah, it's not gonna focus on it. It's
Yeah.
Caprice. It's 8,000 is the number.
Okay.
But yeah, it's this super rich kind of red orange, tomato red.
Mhm.
got
Oh,
those-
wow.
Yeah, it's got those fun speckles. They did a whole little collection like this where they did nice big swaths of color, and then they did these fun speckles in the spaces.
It's really pretty.
What would be olive?
This is the one I put with the teal. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is the one I put with the teal and the teal hat. Yeah.
I didn't get the name when you was doing it, but that's really pretty. I like that.
Yeah, so you can see that kind of teal color there.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's fun. All right. Any other questions?
How many yardage is in a picado?
In a picado, yeah, they're
Should be around 49.
I think they're about 49,
they're calling it 50 yards.
50. Yeah.
Yeah,
How many picados are in that sweater?
5, and they're $9 a skein.
How many of the regular skeins are in the sweater?
Hmm. Yeah, of course, they're not going to tell us. Let's go back to the website. It'll have it on there for us.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's funny. I was just doing the same thing.
So we go kits, and we're gonna. Oh, and I have another thing to show you, because we must. Yeah. Oh, okay. One thing at a time. So, yes. And then it'll change how many bocados. Looks like no more than 2 bocados at the high ends, at the upper ends for all your colors. And then your main color is going to be anywhere from 5 to 10 skeins. But they do really nice, pretty wide size ranges, which is great. And then they should, I think on the pattern, they tell you, usually they've been telling folks what kind of ease you're looking for. So you'll want to pad in a little bit, unless you want a really fitted sweater, but you can see the sweaters they're wearing aren't super fitted. So you want to pad in probably 2 to 6 or 8 even inches to your full bust measurement, figure out which side you want to make. And then we did have a couple others. So if you're going to our website and you go up here to extras, and you go to patterns. And it's really easy to sort stuff by using our little side bits here. So we're going to go to Manos del Uruguay. And that's going to filter everything down to Manos. And then we're going to go into the line Alegria Grande. And here are some patterns that I've already shown you. But there's also this stripes and blocks double knit baby blanket, which is really cool, made out of the Alegria Grande. And this other sweater that I wanted to get, but the model no longer exists for it. So this is called Dijon. And this is another very simple graphic color work sweater. This one is worked bottom up, and there's a little bit of shaping. It nips in a bit on and around the waist and then flares out again. And you've got a seed stitch border along here. And then these fun kind of little rectangles. And this would be a great way to play with the bocados. You could do, you know, one whole rectangle, one color, and this little dash is another, and this rectangle section, a different color. So you could play with it that way. Again, you've got this richness of those striata colors where it's not flat, it's interesting. This is the Dijon sweater. This is one of their older sweaters. So the model sadly disappeared, apparently. But I think it's a really interesting piece. I like that it has the 3/4 sleeves too. And of course, you could make your sleeves as long or short as you want. That's the Dijon pattern.
Yeah, I think that was actually designed for an older yarn, because I think Dijon came out before Alegria Grande was released.
Yes, yeah, no, it's a really, really old pattern.
Another yarn, yeah.
Yeah, but they
But
had
it's the same gauge and all that kind of
yeah,
stuff.
they had kind of like revamped it, and they talk about it on their, you know, they have it under the Alegria Grande category on the Fairmount Fibers website, but the model doesn't exist, sadly. So but I liked that because, again, it was a color work, and with these little bocados, it's fun to play with color in that sense. So that's the Alegria Grande presentation. Got off to a rocky start, but I think that's a great that's a great way to represent the whole thing, right? Is, you know, casual and fun. We're just learning about yarn and playing in colors. Look at that. All the way to the floor, you've got choices. So many colors.
Yeah, they really, I remember when this came out, there were 7 colors.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was small, and they have steadily, vastly grown it every year. We get
Yeah,
a few new colors.
that's right. I remember there was no red, and we went, how can you have no red? There was no red. Yeah, there was some odd selections for what the first 7 colors were.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of sat around for a little bit, and then
Yeah.
they started filling out. And now, obviously, there's an awful lot of colors.
Yeah, yeah. And I think too, probably because it is, you know, the big sister of Alegria, I'm assuming that the Alegria choices, because you'll find all of these colors in the Alegria, and vice versa. And so I'm assuming that popular colors in the Alegria inform what come into Alegria Grande.
Probably.
As well as, yeah, and then as well as them just coming up with fun new colors. This is Wild Orchid. They put Wild Orchid in a couple different lines. I believe it's also in Maxima. It's a really fun color. That is Alegria Grande. Yay! And that's a wrap.